Hello, welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today we're going to learn some confusing vocabulary, so let's get started. First, what is a shredder and what is a grater? This is a shredder. It's a paper shredder. The verb is shred. You shred paper with the paper shredder. And this is a grater. I know what you're thinking, but I shred cheese with this. But it's not called a shredder. It's always called a grater. This is a grater. You can shred with it. You can grate with it. You can do different things with it. But it's called a grater, not a shredder. So you can shred cheese. You can shred different things with a grater. Now let's talk about the difference between the two verbs, shred and grate. When you shred things, they're in longer pieces, larger pieces, than if you grate something. If you grate something, it's in tiny pieces. It's smaller. So example, I shred carrots for my soup. Or I can say I shred carrots to make soup. Remember the prepositions. For is before a noun and to is before a verb. So I shred carrots for my soup. Or I shred carrots to make soup. Let's practice. Do you shred carrots? Very good. Do you shred carrots for your soup? Very good. And when you shred carrots, what do you use? Do you use a shredder or a grater? That's right. When I shred carrots, I use a grater. That's what it's called. Let's talk about the verb grate. I grate Parmesan cheese, and I grate Parmesan cheese with the grater. That's why it's called a grater. Let's practice. Do you grate Parmesan cheese? Very good. And do you grate Parmesan cheese with a grater? That's right. You grate Parmesan cheese with a grater. Now let's change the verbs to past to make adjectives. Shred in the past, shredded. This is the adjective to describe the cheese. I don't shred cheese with my grater. I buy shredded cheese. It's easier and it's the same price. Let's practice. What about you? Do you buy shredded cheese or do you shred cheese yourself with the grater? Very good. And the verb grate. In the past, grated. We use grated as an adjective to describe something. Example, the cheese. I buy grated cheese. I don't grate the cheese myself. I buy grated Parmesan cheese. What about you? Do you buy grated cheese or do you grate the cheese yourself? Very good. So remember, this is a shredder, this is a paper shredder, and this is a grater. And you can use a grater to shred cheese, to shred carrots, or to grate cheese. It has different functions, but it's always called a grater. Today we're talking about these two words, salvage and savage. They are different. First, let's look at this word, savage. Pronunciation, use the open ah sound like black cat, savage. And the second syllable is not stressed, so pronounce it relaxed. Savage. Savage is an adjective. It means violent and uncontrolled. Like these dogs. These are savage dogs. Example, he was chased by a pack of savage dogs. They were violent and uncontrolled. So I can use the adjective savage. He was chased by a pack of savage dogs. Let's practice. Was he chased by a pack of savage dogs? That's right. He was chased by a pack of savage dogs. Scary. Now let's look at this word, salvage. We use the same vowel sounds, but there's an L there. So we use the ah sound like black cat, salvage. And a short sound at the end, idge. Together, salvage. And what is salvage? Well, salvage can be a verb. If a car was in an accident and you want to save the parts that aren't damaged too bad, you can save them and use them again. You can salvage the parts. For example, this car was in a bad accident and they couldn't salvage anything. They couldn't save and reuse any parts. So I used the verb salvage. They couldn't salvage anything. Let's practice. After the accident, did they salvage any parts? Did they salvage anything? That's right, they couldn't. They couldn't salvage anything. Everything was ruined. Everything was damaged. And here in America, if you buy a car that was in a bad accident, sometimes you get a special title. You get a salvage title. That means the car was in a bad accident, but they were able to salvage the car. So they give it a salvage title. My car was in a bad accident before I bought it. So it has a salvage title. This car has a salvage title. It was in an accident, they fixed it, they salvaged the car, so now it has a salvage title. Let's practice. Does this car have a salvage title? That's right, the car has a salvage title because it was in an accident and they were able to salvage the car. Let's practice. After the accident, were they able to salvage the car? That's right. After the accident, they were able to salvage the car. They were able to save it and use it again. So remember the two words, savage and salvage. Savage is violent and uncontrolled, and salvage refers to something that is used again. Today we're learning this word, deadbeat. It's not an adjective, it's a noun, so I have to use an article, a deadbeat. So what is a deadbeat? This is a deadbeat. A deadbeat is a person with a bad reputation, usually because they're lazy. I call him a deadbeat because he doesn't have a job. He doesn't really do anything. That's why he doesn't have any money. He doesn't have a job, he's lazy, I can say he's a deadbeat. So it doesn't mean he's dead, and he's not beating anybody, so the word doesn't really make sense, but that's what we call him, he's a deadbeat.
So what's a day or two to a deadbeat?
Jackie Treehorn wants to see the deadbeat, Lebowski.
Same deadbeat stealing my water and power, I told.
Why did you have to tell her that deadbeat was testifying?
Sit. You're a deadbeat.
And he has an ex-wife and a child, and he doesn't give them any money. So we call him a deadbeat dad. This is a common term for fathers that don't take care of their children. They leave and they don't send any money. They're called deadbeat dads. So he's a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, I was like, hey mom, I'm gonna skip school to confront my deadbeat dad.
You know, he could be a deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dad! Oh. Daddy didn't love me!
Okay.
And I want you to know, Moby is not going to be a deadbeat dad.
Let's practice. So he doesn't have a job and he doesn't have any money. Is he a deadbeat? That's right, he's a deadbeat. And he has an ex-wife and a child that he doesn't send money to. He doesn't take care of them. Is he a deadbeat dad? That's right, he's a deadbeat dad. He needs to get a job and start sending them money. But for now, he's not. He's a deadbeat dad. So remember, a deadbeat can be any person who is lazy and doesn't have a job. And a deadbeat dad, well, that's a father who does the same thing. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to become a member, click the join button. And we'll see you next time.